Time for the 49ers Rush Podcast. And here's your host, John Chapman.
What is going on, faithful? It is so great to be with you guys today. This is episode 1603 of the 49ers Rush podcast. And what I've spent my entire morning doing is going through the future projected roster of the 49ers now. And again, this is before free agency. This is before the draft. So it's not that the 49ers are going to implement the current roster as is for the 2026 season. It's an incomplete project, right? However, the whole idea here is to rate every single position group 1 through 10. 10 being starter in place, quality depth backups, youth to develop into backups or starters in the future, right? That's 10. 1, nothing reliable in place with no depth and no future vision to, for that position group. So and we have ones, we have 10s, we have everything in between. So, went through offense, quarterback room, running back room, wide receiver, tight end, all those different things. So the goal today is to kind of step back and pay attention to the forest for the trees, right? And just see okay, what is this snapshot with what the 49ers have in place moving into the 2026 offseason? And understand this, the 49ers are, and this is a Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch thing, they are a need drafting franchise for better or worse. It's so funny because as we're getting closer to draft season, we're going to start having questions. Would you rather have this player or this player or this player? Would you rather draft this position or trade back? And the first, second, third comment every single time is BPA, best player available. Take the best player available. Well, Niners don't do that. They really, really don't. Until about the fourth round. 4th, 5th, 6th round, 7th round, the Niners are a best player available team. They are not like that in the 1st, 2nd, 3rd rounds. Their draft strategy never has been that since 2017 through 2025. And understand, John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan make the decisions for this team and will continue to make the draft picks. So I know we want drastic change and overhaul, and man, why don't we do what this other team does, like the Eagles or what? Niners ain't that team. They're not going to be that team. So do not expect any of those things to change at any way, shape, and time. So again, today we're going to go offense, defense, each personnel group, and we're going to rate the room 1 through 10. And as I spent a lot of time just going through the position groups, it's just like, wow, there's some glaring needs. Not a bad roster, though. And the overall snapshot is, man, you've got so many quality pieces in place. This team is going to be better in 2026 than it was in 2025. I believe that, especially at the start. Now, you hit on free agency, you hit on some draft picks, you develop some of the younger guys, you actually stay healthy for once. Those things are the variables, which you cannot necessarily affect and you can't predict. So that's where it is. Want to say thank you to all the hashtag CCs. What's up, Captain Niner? Monkey Boy in the house, Big Tone. Appreciate you guys coming in early. I love it. Even when it's the off season, we got stuff to talk about. What's up, Shane? How we doing, man? Yeah, the real deal, catching a live. Glad you're here. Second live I catch in a row. That's right, S1K Friday. Glad you're here, man. And look at this, Jay. My first live after being stationed in Guam for the last 4 years. Jay, thank you for all that you have done. Incredible. And I am very thankful to spend some time with you, man. And just want to say again, thank you for all you've done. You're a freaking legend. And do have to say thank you to our executive producers. We got 49ers George 365, David Gill, Dorian Campbell, Corey Robbins. They make this show happen. Want to say thank you to those guys. Episode 1603. Going strong. All right. Let's start on offense, and I'm not going to go in numerical order. I'm just going to start with quarterbacks. The top grade I gave the team. The only 10 grade that I gave the team was at the quarterback position. Now, let's pause In retrospect, how amazing is it that the 49ers, who have been destined for quarterback controversies, uncertainties, you name it, every single offseason since Shanahan showed up, and even before then, right? You can go back through the Colin Kaepernick years, shoot, I'm watching Rise of the Niners now, which is such a great show. If you haven't checked that out on YouTube, it's awesome, done by AMC. I finished the 2 episodes, and it finishes the second episode with the Steve Young, Joe Montana. The 49ers just have lived in this sphere of the backup quarterback being the most popular guy on the team. It's just a thing. It's just a thing. Yeah, Big Tone. It's amazing. It is great. It is great. So, I'm doing my morning treadmill walk, with my weighted vest on and all that kind of stuff. And I'm watching, and I'm just like, oh, dude, let's get this done. Let's get this done. I freaking it pumps you up. That Ronnie Lott segment, that's my favorite segment of the show so far. That was cool. That Ronnie Lott segment was worth it by itself. So I gave the quarterback room a 10. 1, Brock Purdy's locked up. And, again, going back through the Seattle tape in the divisional game, the best player for the 49ers was Brock Purdy. The best player for the 49ers was Brock Purdy. That dude was playing by himself. O-line didn't do him any favors. Tight ends didn't do him any favors. Wide receivers didn't do anybody. They did a lot of favors for the Seattle Seahawks. Running backs, same. Brock Purdy was the best player the 49ers had that game. I thought Brock had a great season, but the injuries were an issue. You got the best backup quarterback in the NFL, Mac Jones, locked up. Brilliant by Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to get a 2-year deal in place. And then you even got the, Curtis Rourke. You have the youth development that takes place there. And guess what? Because he was not on the active 53 and playing any games, you still have Curtis Rourke for 4 seasons because he'll be a restricted free agent moving forward. So you've got your starter in place. You've got the best depth backup quarterback in the NFL, Mac Jones. And then you got Curtis Rourke. So shoot, you have everything from you just have it. You just absolutely have it. Now, the question, and the only thing that could change this is, does Mac Jones get traded? I have said for a very, very long time, and I am not moving off of this kind of stake here. If you can get a top 50 pick, you trade Mac Jones like that. Because again, Mac Jones you have for 1 year, and then he leaves. And yeah, you might get a 3rd-round comp pick, but that 3rd-round comp pick is going to be in the 100s. It's going to be pick 101 to 105, right? If you can get a top 50 pick, I'm trading him in a heartbeat. If you can get a top 75 pick, now this is the gray area, right? And the reason why I say gray area is, how does your draft evaluations work? Every year when we build our big board with the 49ers Rush draft stuff, and we're getting ready for all that fun stuff. Yeah, how does this draft look? Do you see starters at pick 75? Because if that's the case, all right, cool. And you can take that. Miami has pick 75. And Miami may want Mac Jones. I'm just saying. So if it's a top 50 pick, I'm doing it no brainer. If it's a top 75 pick, that's gray area. Anything outside of that, I'm probably like, you know what? We'll just keep him as a backup. We'll let him sign, get that compensation pick, which wouldn't be until, 2028, right? So do you get the pick in 2026? Or I guess it would be 2027. I'm wrong. So it's delayed and it would be later. And I mean, we've seen the value. You do not make the playoffs and Mac Jones is not on this team, period. You do not make the playoffs if Mac Jones is not on this team, period. Applesauce, what's up, man? Howdy. He says, second most important player on the team is the backup quarterback. That is the Charlie Casserly line, right? Most important player is the quarterback. The second most important player is the backup quarterback, which Kyle Shanahan was the offensive coordinator on the Texans when Charlie Casserly was the general manager. So that is there. But if you can get a top 50, no brainer. Top 75, all right, that's a little bit of a coin flip, depending on where you do this. And we'll spend more time talking about that. Oh, man, applesauce, my man. Says, JC, when do we get the film breakdown of you skiing Corbett's So Corbett's was closed while I was there. I was very disappointed. Probably wouldn't have done it anyway. Not at my current stage, but we did do all of the blacks that were. I skied at Jackson Hole with my boys this weekend, and so yeah, I got some waffles up top. Skied, Rendezvous Bowl. Skied every single black that was open from the peak of the mountain, which was unbelievable. But yeah, so they were getting ready for a King and Queens of Corbett's, which is next weekend. So it was shut down the entire time I was there. So that was kind of a bummer. I know nobody cares about this, but like a few of us. But yeah, man, I freaking Jackson Hole is the best ski trip I've ever had in my life, and the snow wasn't even that great, to be honest with you. But thank you. Corbett's was not open, but I don't think I could have done it. I'd have a neck brace on right now, all those things. But yeah, if you want some amazing, go just type in Corbett's YouTube. You'll have a great time. You're gonna have a great hour. I promise you that. But anyway, you guys are the best. All right, so quarterback 10. That's the highest grade I gave any position group. Running back, I gave a 7, and I struggled with this one. I bounced it up and down. Whatever else, Christian McCaffrey. Coming off, 2,100 yards, freaking 17 touchdowns, elite. You still got him signed. He's 30 years old now. He's not as fast as he once was. Still great. Still, like, Christian McCaffrey's great. But the 3 times he has led the NFL in touches, the following year has been an absolute dud. And now he's 30. And now he's slower. So you've got to move forward with Christian McCaffrey being the mainstay of your offense, but it's a little worrisome behind there. Brian Robinson's gone. He ain't coming back. And then you got Jordan James, who, man, he looked really, really good in his first game action ever in the divisional round. Stupid. That's absolutely asinine. You had so many 2-score games in the fourth quarter, and you just did not allow this kid to get any touches, any work whatsoever. That was stupid. It's absolutely dumb. But you have Jordan James and Isaac Guerendo as backups. I'm not a Guerendo guy. I made that very well known, and I said Jordan James will pass him at some point this year. The only question is when. Yeah, it happened in the middle of the season. I'm very confident in Jordan James. I'm not sure I'm confident in Jordan James as a 2, and I'm damn sure not confident as Jordan James as a 1 if Christian McCaffrey has one of those seasons after the insane workload that he's had multiple times this year. So that's kind of rough. So I gave it a 7 because, again, Christian McCaffrey's like runner-up for Offensive Player of the Year probably. Comeback Player of the Year, he's going to win that. Salute to Service, he's going to win that. That's cool as hell. But he's 30. Shelf life for running backs 28. He's already past that date. But what he does in the receiving game and all those things, that kind of extends the career, right? But how many more 2,000-yard seasons does he have? And if he's going to average barely over 3 yards a carry, what's that look like? Yeah, and shoot, howdy. Tyler Algier would be amazing. But Tyler Algier's leaving Atlanta because he wants to be the featured back. Kyle Shanahan is not going to allow anybody more carries or snaps than Christian McCaffrey ever. So, like, yeah, I love Tyler Algier. No way in hell he comes here. Like, dude, you don't let Jordan James, a rookie you drafted and looked great, you don't let him even see the field. You don't let anybody see the field. You don't let Brian Robinson see. You don't let anybody. So, yeah, I love Tyler Algier. That dude is awesome. Tough as hell, mean as hell. Just first downs and touchdowns. It's all he does. But so the running back room I gave 7. I had it at a 5. Bumped it to 6. Went and looked at Christian McCaffrey's stats. I was like, all right, 7. So I'm curious, what would you guys give the running back room? Again, Christian McCaffrey, Jordan James, Isaac Guerendo. That's kind of what you're looking at there. And Kyle Juszczyk, like, let's be fair. Like, you got to put Juice in there. That's what bumped it up for me, because I thought Juice, you could argue, had his best season of his career. So yeah, I struggle with that. Ben says 7 seems fair. That's good. That's really, really good. I like that. So we're in a little bit of agreement there. I got a fair from Howdy. What's up, Howdy? Appreciate you, man. So I gave the running back room a 7. Wide receiver room, my lowest grade of the entire team. The entire team. I gave a 1. I don't know what to do with the wide receiver room. Ricky Pearsall, awesome. Whenever you look at Ricky Pearsall's highlights, his film when he's healthy, awesome. There's not a lot of that. Hasn't gone over 600 yards receiving his rookie or second year. And I know somebody's like, yeah, but he got shot. He didn't get shot the second year. It was more injuries the second year than there was the first year. And he's coming off his worst game as a pro, which was the playoffs. And I know people, again, are saying, well, he wasn't healthy. Go watch the tape, man. Dude literally on 4th and 2 ran into his own player, ran into his own guy on 4th and 2, and he was the primary read in the first half. Ran into his own player on 4th and 2. That ain't got nothing to do with being injured. Dropped a pass on 3rd and long. Would have been a first down conversion. That ain't got nothing to do with being injured. Yeah, it was bad tape. Start to finish for Ricky Pearsall. Dude got jammed by 3 players on one play one time. Was the primary read. And so I like Ricky Pearsall. I have him in my dynasty league, and I'm not trading him. Like, the tools are there. The attitude is there. But it's just like, what are you going to do, man? Are you going to stay healthy? Are you going to have 42 snaps with 0 catches in a playoff game where you're behind 30 points? What the fuck? Like, I don't, how do you have faith in what Ricky Pearsall is and has shown you to be? I don't know. Now, I like Ricky Pearsall. And I like the tape, and it does change the offense whenever he is playing well. And if the ball is close, he usually catches it, unless it's the playoffs. But to come off of that performance, it is just a major, 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 major question mark. And I struggle with that. And then outside of that, you got Demarcus Robinson. That's the only NFL caliber wide receivers on this team. Ricky Pearsall, Demarcus Robinson. And Demarcus Robinson is probably a 4, right? He's a wide receiver 4, wide receiver 5. For us, Demarcus Robinson's wide receiver 1. He's playing the X role in its current thing. And I know free agency is on the way. Draft is on the way. This is not a complete project, but you have to assess what you have in-house. That's it. That's all you got. So right now, Demarcus Robinson's your X. Ricky Pearsall is your Z. And nobody who has ever played before is your slot. Because Jacob Cowing never got snaps. Never got snaps. Jordan Watkins never got snaps. Never got snaps. And again, absolute waste with all those 2-possession games, 3-possession games. Why weren't they getting snaps whenever you're down 35 points? Why weren't they getting targets? Like, why weren't they getting snaps throughout the season? Develop the youth. Why? I just do not understand how we got here. And understand this. Kyle Shanahan has drafted more wide receivers than anybody else in the NFL since he's been here in 2017. More picks on wide receiver. We had 3 second contract wide receivers on the team last year. Brandon Ayuk never played. Debo, you paid to play for somebody else, and Juwan Jennings. You spent picks, you've spent capital, and now you have the worst wide receiver core in the NFL heading into next year. There's nobody worse than us. Nobody. Now, again, incomplete project. So for those of you that's like, Chapman, you're being a little too negative, whatever else. I'm sorry. For the wide receiver position, and like I am always build in the trenches. Like, that's just a fundamental belief. O-line should be a priority at all times. It's not for this regime. That ain't going to change. Wide receiver has been the priority of Kyle Shanahan his entire career. One, he played the position. Whenever he drafted Ricky Pearsall, what made you like him? He reminded me of myself. What? Okay. I love Kyle Shanahan. That was stupid. But to think that they're not going to spend at the wide receiver position, whether it's draft capital or free agent capital, I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying right here. Would you trade Ricky? Nobody's trading for Ricky Pearsall. He has no value. Is he going to pass a physical? Nobody would. Like, what are you going to get? A 3rd, 4th round pick, nobody wants Ricky Pearsall. Like, you can't trade that. To be fair, Ricky Pearsall is a perfect pairing for Brock Purdy, right? Beat man coverage, gets open quick, horizontal separation. That's what he does. That's what Brock Purdy needs. The 49ers need Ricky Pearsall more than all 31 other teams. You can't trade. You cannot trade Ricky Pearsall. Nobody will take Ricky Pearsall unless you're willing to give him up for a 3rd or a 4th round pick. Similar to what you saw with Johan Dotson. Who did the Cowboys get? The Ole Miss guy. Like, trading rookie wide receivers on those deals, you're not going to get anything. So 3rd round pick at best. I'm not doing that. So Stefan, thank you for the super chat. He said, let's finish your comment. Would you trade Ricky Pearsall in our 1st to trade up for Mekhi Lemon? I love Mekhi Lemon. And you need that true X. Let's see here. Mekhi Lemon is currently going, this is according to, he's going around pick 13. Dude, so the 49ers currently pick 27th, okay? To get up to pick 13, one, that's the Rams. You ain't going to trade with them. Baltimore at 14, teams need wide receivers. But you could do an in-division trade. Rams do that all the time. So to trade from 27 to 13, 680 to 1150. So you're talking about 470 points. That's equivalent to a 2nd round pick. So Ricky Pearsall ain't going to do that. Ricky Pearsall will get you from pick 27 to maybe pick 19 or 20. That's it. He's a depreciated asset. Big time. Big time, big time. And again, I wouldn't do that trade personally. I think that you have to have Pearsall on this team as your Z and hope he could stay healthy and become somewhat respectable and dependable. When everything's right, Ricky Pearsall is great. Depending on that, it's trouble. Sin, speak on it, John. You said Ricky Pearsall responded to your IG post about, yeah, we put on there like, Ricky Pearsall stayed on the sideline doing nothing. And he wrote the notes emoji. It did nothing. Went out and had the worst game of his career. And then he responded to the next one we did. And just stop responding to social media. Go out and fucking practice. Like, I like you, Ricky. I really do. Like, I'm not like a hater. I'm just saying it's pretty hard to rely on this guy as the only wide receiver that you can count on. He has nobody around him. The 49ers have missed the wide receiver room. They just have. Oh, what's up, Big Red? John, you're live. Thank God I had to deal with these UIL realignments here in Texas. Yeah. I was with my boys who all still coach down there on that ski trip. And as we were driving, we were going through all the realignments. Man, there's some rough ones. And I know your boys. And what's funny is I met somebody from North Forney that graduated from there, and that made me think about you, man. So there we go. I think the Falcons. Yeah. Forney's Jackrabbits, North Forney Falcons, I believe. Anyway. So that's where we are. That's where we are. Now, let's get into the tight end position and the offensive line, which probably could be a whole entire episode right after this. Everybody's betting the NFL in full do or die mode. College football down to the last teams, and the Super Bowl is just right around the corner. If there was ever a time to get involved in the game, it's now. And MyBookie makes it stupid easy to play. One account, one wallet, bet the spread, live bet the second half, hit the casino during the commercials. It's all in one place, and you've got the power. Go to mybookie.ag now and use promo code 49ers, 49ERS, and you get your first bet covered up to $500. If it doesn't hit, use your bet back bonus token, run it back. Don't just watch the playoffs, make them pay. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere, and I mean anywhere, Texas, California, no matter where you are, only at MyBookie. All right, let's get to the grade for the tight ends. This was another hard one. I gave a 5, which is hard whenever George Kittle's involved because when George Kittle plays, he's the best tight end in football. I would put his tape over Trey McBride, blocking, everything, efficiency, all that stuff. Trey McBride had a hell of a year. They're definitely in conversation with each other as the best. But George Kittle's 32 years old. George Kittle has an Achilles injury. What's he going to be like? Is he going to come back and be what he was at this age? Is he going to get injured again? I mean, he's 32. He's getting there. And how hard he plays, that's great. Tonjes is a restricted free agent, and I counted restricted free agents as part of the team. Tonjes is your tight end one. Luke Farrell, the worst player on the team, worst player on the roster, offense, defense. I would cut him automatically. And here's what's crazy. I looked up the contract. The 49ers will lose cap money if you cut Luke Farrell. Don't care. He's that bad. Cut his ass. Cut his ass, send a message. This does not fly. He does not belong. One of the worst free agency signings. He wasn't a huge free agency deal, but cut his ass, man. That dude, cut his ass. He's decent special teamer. Messages need to be sent at times, and this is the type of player and attitude and effort given on tape that you send that message to. I'm just saying. You lose 162,000 cap space if he's cut this year, but I don't care. That is worth it. Yeah, right here, my man Mark. Appreciate you, brother. Cutting Farrell, addition by subtraction. He ain't it. You got Braden Willis. I prefer him get all those snaps. Monkey Boy says 6 Los Gatos. Tonjes did well above expectations, but that's the thing. There's no depth. So let's assume Kittle doesn't play the first month of the season. And you should cut Farrell. So Tonjes and Braden Willis are your tight end 1 and 2. Now, incomplete project, still free agency, still draft. But, oh, good gosh. This room, it's not great. It's not great. It really, really isn't. Big Tone says, if you need a tight end that can block, I believe Charlie Warner is available because it didn't work out with Saubert or Farrell. Get Kohler. Yeah. They all cost money, man. But yeah, I gave a 5 to the tight end class. Now, right here, shout out to John Lady with the super chat. I was waiting on this one to introduce our O-line conversation. If the 49ers do not address the offensive line early, like always, what is the most important position to address? Who do you select at 27 realistic pick? I want offensive line, right? I would go offense. I would draft an offensive tackle that could play guard. That's what I would do. And this is before I do all my draft evaluation work. So I'm just saying blank canvas, draft slate, pick 27, get you a guard that can kick outside to tackle or a tackle that can kick inside. I want that versatility. What I think the 49ers are going to do is wide receiver. That's what I think they're going to do. And, maybe Denzel Boston falls. Casey Conception, a little bit of a Pearsall clone type guy, but he's got speed and he could play that X a little bit better. And there's some guys in the second round as well. But if one of those wide receivers falls, which I do not see happening, but what I would do, I would draft an offensive tackle that can play left guard. That's what I would do. So let's dive into then. Let's give our offensive line grades. Offensive tackle, I gave an 8. You have 2 A starters and Trent Williams and Colton McKivitz. Right tackle is a mess. Is Colton McKivitz perfect? No, not even a little bit. But he is a top 10 right tackle in the NFL that you have locked up. Now, Trent's 38. Colton McKivitz 30. You have no backups. There is no depth at the offensive tackle position. None. Zachary Thomas, Brandon Parker, no, those are practice squad at best type guys. You don't have that. So, can you bring somebody back? Austin Pleasance is, he's a ERFA. So, you can get him for cheap. And he looked decent. Not the best, scheme fit, but he can fit in a pinch. That helps a little bit. But, man, Trent Williams, guys, he's 38. Last year of his deal. You have to have something. You have to have something. Now, to the comment, off-season mode, appreciate you over on Twitter. John, if they select a wide receiver in the first, will they even play them? Shanahan plays first and second round wide receivers. He doesn't play third and below. So, like, you look at Debo played right off the bat. Ayuk played right off the bat. Pettis played right off the bat. Wasn't good. Pearsall played right off the bat once he got back from his injury. First and second round wide receivers play with Shanahan. Third and below do not. That's kind of like, that's just what it's been. I don't know why. Shanahan, the wide receiver position is difficult, but first, second wide receivers, round pick wide receivers do play. Right here is Denzel Boston even fast. Yeah, we're gonna have to see how the test, but he's a vertical threat. His size makes him that, and that's what you have to have with an X, right? He's faster than Juwan Jennings, who played X for 2 seasons for us. So anyway, take that for what you will. But again, understand, I'm starting Monday is my hardcore build my big board, my, all that stuff starts Monday, and wide receiver position is going to be the first position I start with. So, I don't want to give uneducated opinions. I do that about everything else. Not the draft. Don't you say that about the draft. I take the draft seriously around here, man. Guard. I gave a 4. Pooney got better and better and better, except that last Seattle game. But Pooney got better. Yeah, like, I'm fine with him. Connor Colby's a projected starter right now. Man, Connor Colby had some damn good blocks in that game whenever he came in late, that Seattle playoff game. Like, that dude, he got some movement. Got some starts to start the year, very inconsistent. They pulled him, didn't really let him get back in there. But it's not a terrible group. Dominique Pooney, Connor Colby as your projected starters. It's not great. That's why I gave it a 4. They're young, but there's nobody else NFL caliber. And the 49ers have spent so many picks at this guard position. They don't draft tackles, haven't drafted one offensive tackle in 4 consecutive drafts. The only team in the NFL to do so. Is that going to change? Guard, you need a guard. You need a guard. So I gave him a 4 at the guard, and for center, I gave a 3. Jake Brindle's 33, coming off one of the worst games of his career against Seattle. That dude ruined 4 drives single-handedly in that playoff game. And the wide receivers were awful. There were a lot of bad. Jake Brindle sucked. Jake Brindle was so bad. I'm sure I'm going to hear from lots of people how great Jake Brindle was, but anyway, whatever. Now it's Jake Brindle's last year of his deal. If he gets cut, you save $3 million. He has no guaranteed money left on his deal. Drake Nugent's the only backup under roster. So I gave the center a 3. Do I expect the 49ers to draft a center? I do not. Do I expect the 49ers to sign a center to come and compete? I do not. Jake Brindle's going to be the center next year, and that's a gigantic mistake. The biggest issue with the run game wasn't Christian McCaffrey losing speed. It was number 64 up front. Period. The last year of his contract, I hope they just don't redo it and extend him and restructure him. Yeah, you get a center, everything changes. This isn't the best center in draft class, and I don't think Kyle Shanahan would turn it over to a rookie anyway. You look at the free agency and what's available. Again, if John Chapman was general manager, we're going to be making a move at the center position, period. But I really don't expect them to do. Oh, nice. The website just crashed. Way to go, Spotrack. Appreciate you guys. They tried. Let's try it again. Let me get this pulled up just so I can make sure. Yeah, website's crashed. That's like always crashes, man. Great resource, but fix your servers. Brindle ain't it. Never has been. Everybody can say all the nice things, but I watched the tape. You watch the tape. Everybody walks away from the same thing. And anyway. So that's the offense. Offensive tackle 8, guard 4, center 3. So the lowest grades I gave wide receiver 1, center 3, guard 4, tight end 5. Best grades, quarterback 10, offensive tackle 8, running back 7. Not a bad roster. Not a bad roster. Yeah, find me a center. Please set the broken record. They haven't drafted a center in 13 seasons. 13 drafts. Mike Martin was the last center they drafted. That's a mistake. Yeah, Linderbaum would fix everything. Run game would be amazing. Don't hold your breath. I wish they would. I really do. But don't hold your breath. All right, let's get to defense. Let's do the D-line first. And I was kind of shocked. I had relatively good grades for the defense. Like, I think because of forcing so many draft picks on the defensive side and revamping younger, cheaper, you look at it a year removed and it's like, all right. So I gave the defensive tackles an 8. And so I'm curious. Y'all let me know, how do you grade this defensive tackle room? You've got Alfred Collins and CJ West. Those are your starters. Kalia Davis is a restricted free agent, so he's coming back. Evan Anderson, Sebastian Valdez, nice youth depth spots. The problem, you do not have a pass rushing defensive tackle on your roster. You have 5 run stuffing youth high energy players. I love that. Teams like 5 defense. Some teams only keep 5 defensive tackles. And yeah, Evan Anderson, Sebastian Valdez, they're kind of back in depth roster spots, but they're bright. Their future is bright. Their energy, huge locker room guys, all that kind of stuff. Alfred Collins, CJ West. CJ West can rush the passer now. He can. Kalia Davis, like, that is a solid 3. Not pass rushers. If you get that, that's hard to find. But this defensive tackle room, like, you do not have to add anybody, especially if you're going to carry over that NASCAR package where we're going to be sending defensive ends inside on rushing downs. Then, man, you're like, dude, we got our 5 DTs. We don't have to add really anything, maybe a veteran depth piece. But yeah, Bid says, I grade the DTs a 6. It goes to 9 if we had the one right piece. Yeah, get that pass rusher, man. Get that pass rusher. Just get somebody that can freaking cause problems up the middle on just pass rush, like just specific guy that could just do that. That would be awesome. And defensive end room. This is probably the one where I disagree with kind of the overall fan assessment of priorities. I don't think defensive end's a big priority on this roster. Nick Bosa's back. He's still got 3 years on his deal. The contract is not bad. You're in the value base of his contract. He's 29 years old. Nick Bosa, like, whatever. Mikael Williams, dude, might not be the most dynamic guy, but he's a starter in this NFL. Samo's a restricted free agent. He's a great number 3. Keon White under contract. He's a great number 3. Bryce Huff, if that's your speed rusher, I'm pretty much out on Bryce Huff. Everything has to be perfect for him in order to just perform adequately. I personally would probably move off the Bryce Huff thing and upgrade and go after a speed pass rusher. But like, he's under contract. So Bosa, Mikael, Samo, Keon White, Bryce Huff, that's 5. That's 5. Now, do you ever have enough? No, you don't. But I gave the defensive ends an 8. Bosa's a defensive player of the year, former. Like, and it's not like he's put up bad tape. He hasn't. Now, the injuries, sure. But, like, you can't move off a 29-year-old pass rusher that is putting up the tape that he's putting up. His injury happened early in the year. That's huge. You're going to have all offseason, that 9-month whatever. He's going to be ready to go by training camp. Yeah, if an edge falls to you, that's a premium pass rusher for sure. And if you look at what Raheem Morris did last year with the Falcons, drafted not 1, but 2 first-round edge rushers. You got my boy James Pierce, who I was really, really high on. I wanted Mikael Williams, and then right after that, I wanted Derek Harmon or James Pierce. Those were like my 3 guys. All 3 of them, I think, hit. But yeah, you could use speed edge rusher, but that is not a bad 5. Like Samo and Keon White. Like Samo and Keon White are consistent players. You just don't have that speed rusher. Yeah, Logan right here. If we had a speed rusher that isn't situational besides Bosa, we'd be set. You could use that. Itur Gross-Matos was an absolute failure, complete failure. One from health standpoint, production standpoint, effort standpoint, player IQ standpoint. That was just the worst. That was just the worst signing ever. Anyway, so we'll see. Do you ever stop adding edges? No. But I don't think that that's like, I gave the defensive tackles an 8. I gave the defensive ends an 8. And I didn't want to have both grades. And I'm like, well, if I had to bump one down, I'd probably put the defensive tackles at a 7. Yeah, that in room is solid, man. It is solid. Yeah, Yetur Gross-Matos contract's done. Thank God. He's no way in hell you bring him back. There's no way. You can't find good tape. The Buffalo game when it snowed, he had 3 sacks. That was it. Outside of that, Yetur Gross-Matos did not have a good game. Period. 2 seasons. Oh, that was such a stupid signing. Anyway, that's what it is. All right, let's get to linebackers in the secondary as we wrap this one up. And the linebackers, I'm a little sour on the linebacker room outside of the great 54 future Hall of Famer Fred Warner. Now, if you're going to any games or concerts or anything, got to use TickPick. Hey, Niner faithful, if you're looking for tickets to see the 49ers play this season, TickPick is the destination for the best deals you'll find on tickets with absolutely no hidden fees. TickPick guarantees the best price on tickets to every NFL game and beyond. Download the TickPick app and use code NINERS, NINERS, at checkout to save $10 on your first order. Again, that's code NINERS. Get your tickets ready today to cheer on the team with the rest of the 49ers Rush community, and all of our events for the 49ers Rush road trip are sold exclusively on the TickPick app or tickpick.com. Just search 49ers Rush. All right, the linebacker room, which is hard because your kind of base now is a 4-2-5. You only play 2 linebackers. And the best news ever is Fred Warner's 100% ready to go. You would have played in the NFC Championship. Fred Warner would have been out there playing. That's huge. So whatever issues or concerns people have had about 54, coming off that injury in Tampa Bay, which was the low point of the season, in my opinion. Yeah, I was right there. It broke my heart, man. But like Fred Warner's back, and that dude's going to come back with a vengeance. Like I fully expect him to be comeback player of the year. Defensive player of the year candidate, all those things. Like I'm as bullish on Fred Warner as I possibly could be. Anybody outside, I'm not excited about anybody else on this roster. D Winters, Tatum Bethune, I think they're Sam backers only. D Winters playing Will, that is the worst place to put him. He cannot play backside. He's not disciplined. He cannot slow play. He runs himself out of the play all the freaking time. Horrible angles. Tackles are a mess. Coverage in the flats is bad. Like I've lost a lot for D Winters. Tatum Bethune, major liability in coverage. He's the same guy too. Nick Martin, that injury was catastrophic. Will he play? I don't even know. Didn't get to see him play really at all. No development. And now, like, that was a Robert Saleh guy. Robert Saleh's gone. So, like, I hope Nick Martin gets right, gets healthy, and can turn into the Will that they want him to be. That would be great, but you can't rely on that. So I give the linebacker room a 6. And I do not want to draft. You've got youth in the room. You got D Winters, Tatum Bethune, Nick Martin. You got youth. I want to vet. And there's a few positions that the NFL has just said we do not value contractually, financially. And linebackers, listen to these vets available on free agency: Devin Lloyd, Demario Davis, Quincy Williams, Devin Bush, Nakobe Dean, Alex Anzalone, Leo Chenal, Quay Walker. Like, are you kidding me? You can get those guys for pennies on the dollar. Go get one of those dudes, put him at will, allow these young pups to fight for that Sam, that number 3 role. Like, so I give the linebacker room a 6, but that's being carried pretty strongly by the future Hall of Famer Fred Warner. I'm going to be honest. Like, Fred, the only linebacker, everyone else sucks. That you said that. I didn't say that, William. But you've got some upside there. But yeah, I would take Garrett Wallow probably over all 3 of those guys, to be honest with you. And that's somebody you signed off the street. D Winters, Tatum Bethune, Nick Martin. Garrett Wallow was more consistent than a lot of them, but he doesn't have the ceiling. Like, he's maxed out. You know what I mean? I do not want more youth linebackers. Dude, you can go get such a cheap deal for a veteran that has experience and can play. Put him next to Fred and just be done with it, man. Allow the youth to develop and fight for that last spot and to be a future part of that. I struggled with corner because I was like, is it all corners, nickel corner, outside corner? And it's two different positions. So I graded nickel separately than outside cornerback, and I gave the nickel a 9. I am as high on Upton Stout as I possibly could be. I just finished the last breakdown, and that's up on the 49ersrush.com and our Patreon of the divisional round. It's the fourth quarter. The Niners are down 20 plus, and Eric Kendricks calls a play. Upton Stout, rookie, gets in Eric Kendricks' face, overrides him, puts the linebackers where they're supposed to be, talks to the safeties in the corners, and gets the entire play right. This is down 20 plus points. You're correcting a decade-long veteran, and he was right, and it was a good play. But, like, I'm telling you right now, whatever Upton Stout, whatever box that dude needed to check, and shout out to Wayne Breezy, you know, that was his guy before we picked him, and he nailed it. I was a little lower on Upton Stout than a lot of people because of his size. Don't tell him that. Like, Upton Stout is freaking him. And for the people that say, like, man, we haven't had a home run in a long time, dude, Upton Stout might be. He's not yet. But he might be. Like, that guy might be him. I can't believe they only let him play 18 snaps in that divisional round. That was so dumb. Like, I love Robert Saleh. Really wish he was still the DC. That dude got obliterated by Kubiak. Like, he got Kubiak that head coaching job. Robert Saleh just X's and O's wise. Like, Seattle beat the shit out of the 49ers, offense, defense, special teams. They won all three phases, turnovers, blah, blah, blah. Just the X's and O's that Kubiak did to Robert Saleh was pretty damn impressive. Like, he out-schemed the shit out of him. Take that for what you will. But Upton Stout on the field for 18 snaps in that game, nah, bro. That's a mistake. That's poor coaching. That's poor personnel decision-making. He's him. So I gave the nickel a 9, and there's not even a backup. I had it at 10. Like, I'm telling you, Upton Stout's him. Upton Stout is him. And the silent tape is where I base that off of. The tape is good, and yeah, he got toasted, you know, I think it was the second half by by number 10 Cooper Kupp. He got toasted by Jackson Smith and Jigba because we're running so much man coverage. But, like, I'm telling you, the leadership, the passion, the care, the effort, the everything about him, dude, the evaluation and how you grade players, Upton Stout's him, man. Like, he's him. Ben right here. Stout led all DBs and bench press reps at the combine. His words, I can't be the biggest, but I can damn sure be the strongest. The mentality is there. You see it. Like, the passion. Like, you see a lot there. He's not perfect, but I'm telling you right now, I would be shocked if 2 years from now you say who the best nickel corner in the NFL is. If that answer isn't Upton Stout, I'm shocked. I'm taking him versus the field. Like, that's how strongly I'm really high on this kid. I'm really high on this kid. Great rookie year. Defensive MVP for me the past season. Just showed up. Outside corner, different story. I gave a 5. Demo's good. Not a leader. Not a captain. Some of the worst technique of a corner I've ever seen in my life. Grabs every single play. Could have been called for probably 6 defensive holding calls against Seattle, but they weren't calling it, so keep doing it. I guess one of the league leaders in penalties going to be. Doesn't seem like he's going to change his attitude or technique at all. The 49ers just let them do that. The Cardinals are hiring Nathaniel Hackett as their offensive coordinator from per Adam Schefter. That's great news. Man, Mike LaFleur is going to kind of call everything, but Hackett's terrible. Anyway, outside corner. So Demo, Renardo Green was awful all season. Kyle Shanahan hates him, benched him several times, yelled at him several times, was so soft for Seattle, so scared to tackle, couldn't cover. I'm not out on Renardo yet, but he started looking like Ambry Thomas that divisional game. And the entire game plan for Seattle's offense was go at 53 and go at 0. It worked in the run game and pass game. They just bullied. It just, man, go right at 53 D winners, go right at 0 Renardo Green, and it worked nonstop. Darrell Luter Jr. had way better tape than Renardo, but he's not a starter. Jacob Robinson was promising before he broke his arm in that last preseason game. I think corner is a major need. I really, really do. You've got three guys in Demo, Renardo, Darrell Luter, but I've got confidence in Demo. Ugh. And yeah, it looks like it's a good corner class. I think you need corners, man. I really think you need corners. I think corner is such a big need. Now, the safety room, last position, I gave a 4. I was kind because you've got young guys. You've got Malik, who, he looks the part, but so inconsistent. The highest drafted of the group is Jair Brown. He's on a rookie deal, so you don't cut him, but he's just awful. Marquise Siegel, gosh, man, he's so damn fast. Tackles so well. Just, he should have played all year. That was a major mistake, taking him off the field. He could have developed, and you could have known what you've gotten or don't got. So, you've got 3 young guys on rookie deals, but you've got to change something. That safety room was god-awful this year. Safety room's been god-awful since Steve Wilkes been here. It's been bad back-to-back seasons with 2 different DCs. Is that going to change this year? Yeah, I don't know. So you look at the rankings, the lowest grade I gave was safeties at a 4, corners at a 5, linebackers at a 6. Top grades, defensive ends at an 8, defensive tackles at an 8, nickel at a 9. The defense graded out so much more positively, and a lot of that has to do with that youth movement. You invested so many draft picks on the defensive side, and, maybe Upton Stout's the only home run, but, dude, Alfred Collins was not a miss. CJ West was not a miss. The Marquise Siegel was not a miss. Like that much, those bodies matter now. So do the 49ers switch over and do that on the offensive side this year? Perhaps. But yeah, I'm looking at this and I'm just like, dude, wide receiver is the biggest need on the team. And it's not close. And so walking away from this exercise, wide receiver is just a disaster. Center, guard, disaster. Safety, corner, need help. Tight end, need help. Those are your positions. Wide receiver, tight end, guard, center, safety, corner. Those are your big needs. And if you want to keep pushing the envelope at offensive tackle and just maybe Trent wants to play longer, I don't know. McKivit's locked up multiple years. I don't know. Maybe Austin Pleasance can just be that guy. I don't know. But you've got 9 picks in the draft coming up, but wide receiver you have to address. Tight end you have to address. Guard you have to address. Center you have to address. Corner you have to address. Safety you have to address. That's 6. And that's not replenishing or best player available draft choices anywhere. So free agency, you got to shore up some of these spots. And then the draft should be there to supplement for the future, right? And that's kind of been the MO. We're going to plug our dire needs in free agency, and then we're going to draft to kind of build whatever else. And yeah, 5 picks in the trenches, I'd be happy too, Kaiser. But if you do that, your corners and safeties are going to suck again. So, yeah. John, is there any vet wide receiver you consider bringing in? Sorry if I missed you addressed it. Man, you've got to get X. You've got to get X. Outside vertical pressers. Romeo Doubs makes the most sense. He's not perfect, but he's going to be a value wide receiver that you can draft and allow you to work in Jordan Watkins. Like, Romeo Doubs is your cost-cutting measure, like if you want to be cheap about it, but he's played in the scheme. He's an X, reliable in the red zone. He could at least do the Juwan Jennings role. I want Alex Pierce, and I think you'll get every penny on the dollar on that signing. He blocks well, runs full route tree, led the NFL in yards per reception. I mean, just dude's a baller, but you're going to be in a bidding war for him. So Romeo Doubs probably more practical. The best players, Alec Pierce, and then the slot, man, go get Wan'Dale Robinson. Plug him into your number 3. Like, he could do kick returns and he could do your slot, whatever, and that shores that up. Then you could spend 2 picks on X wide receiver and just say, hey, somebody's got to win this job. You know what I mean? So we're going to get in there. But yeah, and again, if you just joined us, Niners do not do best player available. They will not do best player available until round 4. That's where they start to do that. But at no point in the history of the Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch era have they ever drafted best player available in the first, second, third rounds. It is always need-based drafting first. Always. That's why they can justify taking Jake Moody in the 3rd round. Well, we had all of our starters filled, so like they do not believe that does not compute in their mind. Not saying I agree with them. That's what it is. So hopefully you guys had a good time. This was fun. I enjoyed this experience. We should be live. I haven't checked with Ant. We should be back for 49ers Cutback tomorrow at 10. If not, I'll be live at some point tomorrow for sure. You guys are the best. And man, this is a blast. Again, thank you to Corey Robbins, Dorian Campbell, David Gill, and 49ers George 365, executive producers of this show. And for us and all you 49ers fans out there, stay strong and faithful.